First, let's talk about Jonah Hill. So over the weekend, this discussion kind of exploded on Twitter, especially where Jonah Hill's ex-girlfriend released a bunch of text messages between the two. Really, they're just texts from him in which she calls them emotionally abusive, and other people are saying, like, look, this is just Jonah Hill setting his boundaries. Yep. We're going to read through them, and we will let you decide, and everyone will make their opinions known. So, Mary, go ahead and read through the texts, will you?
His ex-girlfriend, Sarah Brady, started off this tirade saying, I hope my ex has a daughter. Maybe she'll turn him into a real feminist, because the fact that he calls himself a feminist now is laughable.
Well, that's your first mistake. Don't call yourself a feminist. That's
horrible.
I think first red flag for Jonah Hill is that he's a male feminist. Automatically off the bat, I would assume that he's probably toxic in relationships. But here's some more. He said, it's just constant and doesn't reflect where we're at or where you say you want to be. I respect your skill and your surfing. I respect how you want to present yourself. I respect that you're hot and beautiful, and I respect however you want to live, but I also respect myself and what I'm interested in my own life and what I let into my heart and inner circle. So celebrate yourself and your life however you please. Shine bright. But I don't want to have to deal with da-da-da. I don't know. That was cut off in the screenshot. He also said, this one was the most widely circulated. He said, plain and simple, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, to friendships with women who are in unstable places from your wild recent past, beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. And again, this is totally out of context. Yeah. So we don't know if there was some like repeated, like, I don't know, misdoings she was not including in this story. There were some more where he said that she needed to delete all of her pictures that she was in a bathing suit. She's a professional surfer. She like competitively
semi-professional surfer or something.
Some people were saying that her job is that she's a surf instructor, but apparently that's not true. She posted today saying it was like funny that people thought that. She prefaced it saying, this is a warning to all girls. If your partner is talking to you like this, make an exit plan.
That is literally
love y'all. Call me if you need an ear. And then she also said like he's misusing the term boundaries. She said
in the chat they want to know why this is news. It's news because these types of questions come up often these days.
Well, especially after the Keke Palmer story.
And or even anytime you talk about Pearl, right? It talks about men, women, and the relationships between men and women. You should also take a little bit of a grain of salt that Jonah Hill is going to be in a very different place than your average man because of his wealth and status. But what he's saying here is still something that everyone can look at and figure out whether this applies to them. By the way,
she complied with his requests of deleting these photos and like reported back. She complied. That's on her. If she felt that his requests were unreasonable or inappropriate or abusive or whatever, then she shouldn't have gone along with it. But that part is on her.
Someone's opinion on where he sets his boundaries is just that. Someone's opinion on where he sets his boundaries. Everyone is going to have a different estimation of what is and is not acceptable in their relationship.
Right, but people are saying they got together because he slid up into her DMs complimenting one of her pictures where she's in a swimsuit, and then presumably months into their relationship then decides that it's an issue that these photos are public.
That's what people are saying, but we don't know that. Do we know that's the case?
We don't know, okay. But that's kind of the story that she's wanting us to believe, and I'm not going to assume one way or the other, but it does seem at least it's not abusive, it just seems stupid to get in a relationship with someone whose job conflicts with what you want in a relationship.
So
right?
I get her perspective and I get his perspective, because there are times where, like in my past, where people have been like, I start dating someone or something, and it's like they have certain preconceived notions or whatever, or we start dating and it's like, oh, who's this person or why are you doing this? And it's like, well, I'm in a band. Like, this is part of my job, going and talking to people, taking pictures with people. Like, if you have a problem with me taking pictures with people, like, that's going to be an issue in the relationship. If you have a problem with distance, that's going to be an issue in the relationship, because I tour and stuff. So I get it, like, that if you sign up for something, you're signing up for something. That being said, I don't know what their agreements are, what their conversations are like, or what their relationship was like. And if he's just like saying, look, these things are a problem because of something else, because he did mention something about her recent past or whatever, like,
yeah.
And so it's like, if it's something that they had conversations about that she doesn't make known, which is what he's alluding to, I don't think boundaries are a problem. Like I said, I do understand if someone's like, look, you're getting into something, you know what you're getting into. But I still don't think boundaries are a problem. And he's not a jerk about it. He's not calling her names, you know?
Right, but it almost seems like he's using therapy speak to make unreasonable expectations seem more reasonable. Because he even made like this glowing documentary about his therapist, who taught him all about boundaries and all this language that you can put to your...
Aren't you not supposed to use it to put it into practice?
Right, like but he seems like so obsessed with the therapy speak.
Also, he didn't
that he's
release
not
this.
able to,
She
like...
did. So it's not like he released this for the benefit of people being able to see how well he spoke his boundaries. She released these documents, not him.
I'm saying in private.
So you think that kind of speak is a type of manipulation?
He's using the word boundaries to talk about her behavior rather than his own behavior, which is not the correct usage of that term. And I saw this one take that said, the thing about Jonah Hill and his texts show that he has become obsessed with therapy speak and is using that to parse his relationships. The man literally made a documentary about how much he loved his therapist. That is not someone who actually has healthy relationships. And I have to agree, and maybe that's not fair, because I assume he's had negative experiences with women in relationships, just because obviously his looks are not the reason that they find him attractive. It's probably his money and status instead. And they might have treated him a certain way because of that. And he's on guard because of that in the past. And I want to get through more of what the screenshots showed.
But
after she deleted some of these pictures,
wouldn't it also be a problem if he's like, yo, bitch, if you don't delete these pictures, we're going to... That's just as bad, right?
Well, sure, but it's really just... It's the same request, but different wording. And after he requested she delete these photos, he said, "Good start. You don't seem to get it, but it's not my place to teach you. I've made my boundaries clear. You refuse to let go of some of them, and you've made that clear, and I hope it makes you happy."
Look, he gave her the option. She might not like the option,
but
he gave her the option and gave her the out.
It's
Whether
weird
the language
to get
is
into a
manipulative.
relationship with someone whose job conflicts with what you want in a relationship, and then months into the relationship, spring those expectations or standards onto them unexpectedly and cause them a bunch of unnecessary pain having to end the relationship, or you just wasted their time.
So would the better of choice been for him to just be like, look, I realize that this is not going to work because I can't ask you to make these changes because this is your job and it would be unfair of me to ask. Then she would be mad for him not giving her the choice to make that decision for herself.
I think that the feminists would still be mad if he had made these boundaries clear at the start of the relationship, which would be his prerogative. Like, I would think it's totally fair if before you date someone, you state what you expect from them. But if you go months into the relationship to wait and then spring it on them...
Do we know if this is the point where maybe they just became exclusive here and now he's got these to put into place now that he knows it's a more serious relationship?
In other screenshots, he was referring to their couples therapist who they saw for 4 months, which is, it's crazy that you would be in couples therapy and you're not even married. Like, there's nothing to say.
And like only a couple months in, like it's
right.
Just, it's
like this was months into the relationship that he was doing this. And it seems like a stupid decision. It doesn't seem like he's emotionally abusive like she's claiming, but at the very least, it's dumb.
She decided to air this stuff out years later. So I automatically take his side just out of spite.
This is all, purportedly from 2021 when they were dating. And the timing is interesting because she's put out all of these screenshots right like a month after his now fiance has given birth to their child. And now she's claiming that she purposefully waited for this moment supposedly to save the mother of his child from any physical distress that would
she's
that
garbage.
would jeopardize her pregnancy.
F that she is
This
garbage.
lady's
Which
garbage.
I think is cloaking your
Like,
self-serving interests.
even
as
if, even if
altruism.
Jonah's behavior, even if what you guys are saying about the whole therapy talk and stuff, even if that's all true, she's still garbage. Because the point of this is to make a problem for him, which she is actually saying, I'm releasing this so that way
She can
his
make a-
new girlfriend and
Brett,
blah, blah. Like,
play
I'm looking to
play
have
the
an
audio.
effect.
She
How
posted this
awful.
audio on her Instagram story today explaining why she waited until this exact moment.
Even if his words were manipulative, her behavior makes it impossible for me to side
absolutely.
with her.
Absolutely.
You gotta unmute.
Going back, and I'm not trying to like slander someone's reputation.
Yes, you are.
I'm
In the chat, they said she has a baby with him. No, he's got a new lady now that
Yes.
he has a baby with. She released this after they had the baby so that they could argue while the baby's in the other room
Yeah.
about his ex-girlfriend because she's a manipulative, bad person.
See you
Yeah.
next Tuesday.
literally sharing
That was-
their
that
own
was-
words. And not gonna lie, like part of me like waited until after she had given birth. Like not right after, but like a little bit after so that his current fiance and the mother of his child, Olivia, would I just hoped like she would receive some of these screenshots somehow through friends.
That is such
Like
scum.
friends of mine
She's scummy.
that I met through
There
him,
is no
that I know are
defending
good
that.
people.
It's a relationship that didn't work out. Move on.
Yeah, that is.
He didn't physically abuse you.
Keep playing it. Keep playing it.
And I know would make an effort to protect her. Like,
That was it.
There's more that she said about the time.
I didn't want her to have to see all of this while she was pregnant because I didn't know what kind of stress that would cause on her
Oh, but if she's literally in bed
and
rest
her baby,
after
like
birth, that's
physically
fine.
and everything. And I'm sure the timing can seem bad, like, oh yeah, I like waited until he had a kid, but like I waited until she had her baby. So I
Do
knew
you hear that? She
they
had her
were,
like he has nothing.
physically
Like nothing. It's not his.
not impacted
She
by
is
me
so.
sharing this shit. And
This woman is awful.
she could be informed and make an informed decision of how she wants to care for herself and her baby,
Yeah,
which
like-
she birthed and she created. Yes, it's his child, but
Oh my god!
but-
I hate
Like,
this woman.
Even
But I want her to take the baby away from
I
him.
hate her.
after she
that
sees these
woman's
screenshots.
so
innocent.
much.
That's how I see it.
You're scum.
that lady's
You're
scum.
absolute garbage.
She's scum.
And she's veiling her self-interested motives as altruism, which
Yeah.
is even worse.
and
in my
very
opinion.
feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
it
is
is.
toxic femininity.
Yeah.
You can see it very clearly. And she's jealous of his new woman
God.
who has the commitment that she probably wanted
Yeah.
from him but didn't get. And I will
I'm
place
sorry.
the blame on him for not committing to her but still expecting her to abide by his rules for a relationship when he had no real claim over her.
But he's not. He's saying you can if you want, but
Right,
you're
but-
not required to.
But you shouldn't introduce those standards or boundaries well into a relationship. That should be something that you get out of the way right off the bat.
It depends on what the behavior's like in the relationship. If
$20,
she's doing, oh yeah, there's
$20 super chat there from Dash Fortune.
No crisis party yet, even with Phil on, definitely feels like a Monday. Cheers, everyone.
Thank
Everyone tapped out on the 400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
Look,
episode 400.
At the end of the day, you're dating the socially awkward dude with a lot of money, and that's going to come with some requirements
Yeah.
of you. I know that doesn't sound nice to say, but you're going to have to make some changes. You're telling me, if you want me to believe that they were splitting the bill 50-50 on everything they ever went
I
out
mean,
and did.
if he's a good male feminist, then they would be.
But he's not.
No, he's not.
Look, so
She's not
I think
either.
that they're probably
She's-
both toxic people. I mean, the way
Yes.
that he said, I love how your therapist thinks I suck. I literally am the best boyfriend on earth. No one says that, unironically, but isn't kind of toxic.
Here's the thing, though. He didn't release this stuff. She did.
Right.
He didn't ask for this to be made public. She did. So I'm automatically hesitant to, first of all, she's only posting one side of the conversation. We see none of her replies or any of her behavior. There's no context given to anything that's being said. And her behavior and her explanations afterwards prove that she's doing this because she wants to harm him because he's having a life with somebody else and she's jealous.
Another thing that he said in the screenshots, which is telling about her motives, is if you want marriage and family, you can't use the 25 card. Step up and cut shit. These people don't get your time or your kindness at the sacrifice of mine. So she was probably dogging him because he wouldn't commit to her and is now bitter that he's committed to somebody else. It's plain and simple.
Party!
And I think it's really sad that a woman in her 20s who wants marriage and family and was dating a guy who wouldn't give those things to her has to veil her frustration with that as some kind of like girl boss redemption narrative.
This isn't just about her behavior. Like they talk about her like he doesn't want her surfing with other dudes, but he also talks about the women in your life that were bad influences on you. So he's seen behavior in her past that he doesn't agree with. He doesn't see how that fits into their life together. Is he saying it in a blunt way? Sure, but he has a right.
He's being nice though.
Yes, he's being more than polite, and he has a right to want what he wants in a relationship. We're past the point now. Like, look, was it right of him to get into this relationship with a woman that he would have later asked to take pictures down of? Maybe not. I would err on the side of saying, like, look, your behavior when you're single is not the same as your behavior when you're in a relationship. People take down pictures all the time once they enter relationships with other people. Is it right to ask somebody to do that? I don't know. But now we're here, and we have to judge it based on what we're seeing, and what I see is somebody communicating clearly.
Well,
look at the what she's putting out, like what she's saying 2 years later. This behavior right here only makes me think that 2 years ago she was a pile as well, and probably it was a chaotic, messy relationship, and he was probably like, look, these are the things I'm okay with because of things that led up to this. I mean, like you said, they're in therapy. What got them to therapy in the first place? You know,
I just think it's unfair or hypocritical or stupid that you got into this relationship through social media. You slid into her DMs complimenting one of her swimsuit pictures, and then you have a problem with swimsuit pictures.
No, and now
it's the reason that you were interested in this person in the first place.
Now he's saying, I'm going to pay for everything. I want to be the one who sees it.
He didn't say that.
But that's the fact of the matter, isn't it? Like, the fact of the matter is he's saying, like, now, like, if you're going to be a kept person, then that comes with some.
Well, then he would need to make that explicit. That wasn't in any of the screenshots here. But another thing he said is, F that contest, F that place, and F not respecting me always in every situation within surf culture, or you don't get it and you don't get me. It's hurtful and unacceptable to me. Get it? I don't know if you get it or care or give a shit about that shit more than me, even after Dr. Stern has said it loud and clear.
He does talk annoyingly.
Dr. Stern is the couples therapist that they were seeing once a week for about 4 months. So he clearly values therapists' opinions about his life and relationships a little too highly.
But also, like, okay, let's talk about.
I don't think any guy who says this phrase, that would be hurtful and triggering for me, is the kind of guy that you want to be settling down with anyway. So maybe both of them won.
His language is very clearly coached language that he picked up from
triggering.
Therapy. But it is also like, okay, one sec. But it's also communicating what he wants clearly. Is it annoying? Yeah, but he's being clear. Women in today's culture do not like being told no. Look at Keke Palmer. She should be allowed to just go grind on Usher, and whoever she's dating should have no problem with it. We don't exist in a culture where women are held to any level of accountability when it comes to relationships. I'm not trying to be rude.
I was saying, like, all of the mustiest, dustiest women came out of the woodwork to defend Keke Palmer because they themselves want no standards when they're in relationships.
There is a $20
Corey Anderson said, I'm an idiot and forgot the hashtag for cute of the day and just sent his pic to the Twitter account, but my 19-year-old cat Bandit crossed the Rainbow Bridge this weekend and I have been crying more than I thought was possible. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for your loss, man.
R.I.P. Bandit.
The look. Also, the other thing that was interesting, like, okay, so let's talk about. So now that we've decided that she's not a surf instructor, is he talking about her just going and surfing with dudes? Because then the question is like, would you want your partner going and doing activities? Now, do we know if there was other girls in the group?
There are so many circumstances
Exactly.
that are not being laid out here that would make every situation different.
And whatever it is, I just err on the side of I'm not giving this lady the benefit of the doubt because of how she's gone about this.
That's where I'm at. Like, we can go ahead and pontificate about like what it was like 2 years ago when they were actually dating. What led up to them going.
Like height of COVID, they're just like they hate each other because freaking they're stuck inside together all day.
I mean, you can what if the thing to death, but the fact that the facts that we have are just these things, these screenshots. And judging by that and the context of it's years later, she specifically said, "I'm putting these out because I want to fuck up his relationship."
That's
Pardon
evil,
my French.
dude.
That's totally evil. Like that. So like, I don't give her like you can say like I agree with you. It is hypocritical to be like, oh, slide into the DMs and then be like, oh, yo, I don't like this. Like if you date a stripper, don't get mad when she goes to work.
Rich dudes marry models all the time and expect them to then change their behavior.
She's not a model, but I mean,
but he's still asking her to change her behavior. Is the idea here that she's not going to surf anymore?
I get it. Look, there is an amount of behavior that has to change when you get into a relationship. I understand that, and again, I don't know what was said beforehand, but if the context being he slid into her DMs and everything being equal, then he just decides later, I don't like this. I get where Mary's coming from and I agree. It is hypocritical. That being said, he's respectful when he's talking to her. He's laying out things that he finds acceptable in a relationship. And if she doesn't like it, she can leave. And he's not trying to like be like, oh, you're a bad person. He's like, look, I get it. I'll support you. These are the things I need. If you don't like that, that's cool. You can go do your thing. So I just can't see how he's the bad guy in this thing. I think that her
got
behavior
two
is
$20
awful.
ones there.
Bad Kitty Mama said the way I'm reading the 25 thing is that she didn't want a family yet, that she's only 25. It seems like he's the one who wanted a family ASAP. I don't think her issue is his non-commitment. Okay, that could be interpreted multiple ways. But I mean, the context is left out for a reason. She's strategically leaving out anything that she texted him back in this situation.
I also just take issue with going as far as calling this emotionally abusive.
Call
Call it bad communication all you want. Call it weird reliance on pseudo-intellectual psychobabble all you want. It's still clearer than
that
most
doesn't
of
make the headlines as punchy.
No, but it's still a more clearly defined list of expectations. Don't women always say that get mad when men can't read their minds and they want men to be more clearly? They say, oh, men just grunt their responses and don't have anything to add, so we don't know what they're thinking. He's telling you exactly what he's thinking, and I'm supposed to read some type of subtext into what that is. Sorry, but given the way you've released all this stuff, I'm not willing to give you the benefit of the doubt here. He's probably not any better. He is still a Hollywood male feminist. I'm sure he's an absolute nightmare of a human being to be around. But in this case, sorry, you don't get it. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.